Good evening and welcome to the Standards of Geekness podcast. I'm one half of your host for the night, Easy E, aka Evan Jones. The other half is in a Sting Wolfpack mask.
I'm the voice of justice, man. Woo! I'm the franchise around here.
God damn it. How are you doing, Brian?
Um, I'm doing good. It's good to see you.
Yeah,
And it's good to be here. I mean, we were kind of here last week.
we were here last week. We'll get in it. Let me go ahead and share the link to everybody.
Well, while you're doing that, then I'm going to take this opportunity to be the very first person tonight to tell all of our viewers that tonight our podcast is brought to you by duelingguard.com. You can use the card SOG15 to get 15% off of all of your Dueling Guard merchandise, awesome gaming merchandise across the board. Do they have dice? I need to look. I need dice.
I don't think they have dice, but it's something I can mention to the owner when I talk to him next. I've been with my trip this last couple weeks out west. I was very busy with work, so I'm playing catch up on a lot of things.
Yes,
Yeah, there,
yes,
Eric.
but dice, my friend, dice.
Dice would be good, and especially when there's dungeons and dragons and Yu-Gi-Ohs and Magics that you need the dice for.
I was
We'll
definitely
get into
thinking
that
of.
later.
Yeah. It was. I'm excited for things tonight. There's a
I know.
lot to talk about tonight. Not necessarily all wrestling.
Yeah, so I guess let's go ahead and get right into it. Last week, many of you know we were here. Um, so we took the episode down, and you're probably wondering, well, why would Evan and Brian take the episode down? Well, so in the end, in I'd say within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the episode, a crude remark was made regarding very touchy recent issue regarding political violence, and we felt it was not only in the best interest of that person um, to not be on the podcast, but it didn't reflect the values of what we were trying to discuss on the podcast. Um, Daniel is going to be taking a break from the podcast. The Nugget won't be on for a little while. He will be still part of helping out with moderation just because we do need the hands for that.
I can
But
see
he's
him.
taking a
I can
break
see
to
him in
kind
the
of.
chat right there.
I can see him in the chat. Hi, Dan.
Right there.
Um, and he'll be issuing his own public statement on it. We just felt like, in terms of not only for Daniel's, sake, our sake as individuals, and the podcast's sake, that's not the kind of values that we wanted espoused. And we felt it kind of undermined a lot of what we were talking about. And especially, I really thought the topic was not only relevant to what was going on in the world, it reflected a lot of our own personal values when it came to freedom of speech and things like that. We're not going to dive back into that at any point, at least for the foreseeable future. Just know that we support freedom of speech, and it's not us censuring Dan and saying he can't say things. We just felt like we needed to kind of uphold a certain standard and not undermine stuff. That
I
said,
mean, that's the name of the show. We're the standards of geekness, and we got to uphold those standards. It's an
I
important
want
thing for us. It's an important thing for you, our viewers. And honestly, in talking to Dan, I know that it's important to him. I know he feels terrible for his remarks. Um, and just as a little closer, for anyone who was watching last week, yay, Jimmy Kimmel's back. I don't. I
yeah,
know you're not a huge Jimmy Kimmel fan. I actually like Jimmy Kimmel. I think he's funny.
I I don't know. Like,
I'm
I
like
grew
one of
up
the
when
four people that think he's funny.
there's moments that are funny, but my first time seeing Jimmy Kimmel was him on the Man Show, and as a young dumb teenager, I thought it was great. And then I rewatched some of it like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, how the hell did they allow this to air? Um, I, he's not my cup of tea. He's not the kind of humor for everybody. It's sometimes a little lowbrow, but to each their own.
Wow,
Um,
shots fired from Evan here tonight, calling me
it's not a
low.
shot. It's just I don't find Jimmy Fallon funny. I barely found Jay Leno funny.
We can agree on Colbert, right?
Colbert is hilarious. I
Okay,
love him
thank
and Jon Stewart.
thank God.
And John Oliver.
Oh, John Oliver. John Oliver's like my new favorite.
John Oliver's my favorite of the three, but Colbert's funny. I didn't realize he was doing a bit when I first saw him on the Daily Show. I was just like, oh, this guy's just that's weird. Then I got to see it. I was like, oh, okay, it's a bit. All right, well, enough of bits, and as the title said, it's Accountability Buddy season, and we're holding Daniel accountable. We're holding ourselves accountable. We're a big believer in accountability, and we would be hypocrites otherwise. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So last week we talked about the GOAT results from the previous week. We didn't get around to listing the polls this week just because we were trying to figure out what we were wanting to do and how we wanted to address things. So just to recap,
go back over. Let's do.
Owen Hart defeated Gorilla Monsoon. Undertaker defeated Rey Mysterio. CM Punk defeated Kenny Omega, and Mick Foley defeated AJ Styles. The next four up: Shawn Michaels versus Roman Reigns. That's going to be a good one. Stone Cold versus John Cena. Another good one. Flair versus Steamboat, one we've seen before. And then Kurt Angle versus Sting. That's the one I think is going to be probably the most interesting. I don't know. It's been really interesting to see how people voted throughout this thing, too. Unless they're voting with double accounts.
Not pointing any fingers there.
Daniel. Yeah. It's
okay. I think the biggest surprise of these results for me was the AJ Styles Mick Foley. Not because Foley won, but AJ's been, it's so easy for guys like you and I who've been watching wrestling for years and years to still think of AJ Styles as that kind of young TNA kid. He's not. He is I know he's talking about retiring.
He said he's going to be done by the end of next year. Him and Cena, they're facing off at Crown Jewel one last time, and that's one of our topics for the night's talking about John Cena's final run. He's got 4 or 5 dates left, including Crown Jewel. It's WrestleMania 43 also being announced in Saudi Arabia. That was something we talked about last week. We kind of gave our opinions on that. So it'll be really interesting to see, will December 13th be Cena's, in fact, final last match? I think it will. I think they've advertised it. I think Cena's pushed for it. I would prefer if he retired on a grander stage, but, it's one of those things where TKO calls the shots, I guess. Maybe we talk about who, let's name, in our topic, we'll also name 3 wrestlers we want to see be the final person he faces. So SmackDown this past week was kind of, it had a really good match between Sami Zayn and Javon Evans. I really like, Javon Evans has high ceiling, and I think if he can figure out the rest of his character and expand upon it, I think he could be a really big star in the future. We had some broadcasting issues happen on that. The triple threat between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax and Jade Cargill, that's another one of our topics for the night, but there was several issues in that match.
Well, let's just talk about that now. Let's just get that one out of the way now.
Yeah, I guess let's get it out of the way. I'll be perfectly honest. Every person involved in that match botched at some point. In that, I think it was just sloppy. I'm also I am over the Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill dynamic. It feels like since WrestleMania they've been doing this, if not before, in some capacity. And Nia Jax and Tiffany were, before WrestleMania, they were feuding. Like, it feels like they've been going for about a year. I really think there's culpability on every angle here. The ref bears responsibility for not catching, an obvious non kick out. Jade Cargill got busted open hard, the hard way, by Nia Jax on the steps. And I think, not only should the match, she been, maybe not you don't necessarily have to call the X in that situation, but they should have told her to lay down. Her continuing to do spots after that, to me, felt reckless and kind of irresponsible.
Oh, I think from her perspective, first, like, I want to clarify this. First, head wounds, face wounds, they bleed a lot. Like, they're good.
Especially
Yeah,
here,
up
because there's a
here,
lot of
up
veins.
in this
People don't realize
area, yep,
veins.
it's really easy to get a lot of blood coming. In in a situation like WWE, um, they have a no blade policy. It's very very rare when they're
Yeah.
calling for blood to be used.
I think
Uh,
we've seen it, what, 3 times in the last year in total. And before that, it was Cody and Rock in that, post show beatdown that The Rock laid on him before Mania 41.
right, but what I'm saying is when you're out there and you're doing something that's very physically active and it hurts, it naturally hurts and stuff. What I'm saying is Jade Cargill, I'm sure, wasn't in a position where she realized how bad it was for a while there. I'm sure she didn't realize she was bleeding. Then once you do realize you're bleeding, what's going through your head, you got all this adrenaline in your system. What's going through your head is, well, how can I make this look good? How can I use this to my advantage? And
I guess
then
that's fair.
and so, if you go back and you watch the footage of her, after she does the Samoan drop, she, onto the steps, there's a minute where she kind of walks around the ring and kind of like, oh, I need to find a camera so I can like yell into the camera and talk all
Yeah.
my shit and look tough. Um, Not realizing that actually there was enough blood, she could have just sat down. She could have done the Samoan drop and then just kind of fell back. You know.
Yeah. And that's what, in that spot, that's what I would have called. The non kick out, I feel, is less egregious than the allowing her to continue injured, in my opinion. But
Well, okay, so the I've been thinking about this. So the what Evan's referring to is there's a point in the match where Tiffany Stratton covers Nia Jax. The referee, 1, 2, Nia's not kicking out, and the referee stops. And this is a hard position for referees, just in general, because um, like when the match is supposed to end, and then all of a sudden you're putting this 1 second, like about a second, where you have to decide, well, do I keep the match going so that they can have the finish that they want because that's supposed to be the big finish, or what do you hit the mat? Now the correct answer is to hit the mat.
yeah, and
That's
that's what should have happened.
And if that had happened, we wouldn't be talking about a botched spot because no one would have noticed it, and that's why the referee is supposed to hit the mat.
Hmm. It's supposed to look a lot cleaner than that. And to me, I think the culpability there is, it's obviously a call on the ref's part to do that. And you being a former ref, slash you've done it recently too. Um, you have a unique perspective on that. Working as a writer and a producer on shows, I have had to make calls in situations like that before, where it's like, oh, someone got, you know, you can very clearly see that, like, their shoulders like really messed up, and like they can't perform half the moves. You got to pivot, So like, I
Well,
understand the nature of the beast.
okay, but those are two different things. Like, clearly, with the way that the match played out, Tiffany Stratton was supposed to get the W
Hmm.
on Nia Jax, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So once Jade Cargill had performed that that spot over in the corner with the steel steps and
Yeah,
everything, she could have effectively counted herself out of that if, and this is the big if someone had communicated to Tiffany Stratton that they
to get
needed
him.
her to get into the ring and pivot. And that's the big that was the big miss there. Like, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts around that ring, but there's not. That's the real miss from the referee,
Yeah,
because
that
the
was, and that's
referee has the ability to go and check on everybody, and doesn't
yeah.
just have to be. I mean, you don't just have to be checking on the people who are in the action. You can
You're
take a.
responsible for all of it.
That's right, and it's a triple threat. And no one's gonna look at you weird if you if you make it casual and you get over to Tiffany Stratton's side to check on her. She's been down for a minute.
And she was down for a while. Like Naya and Jade were going at it for at least a minute or two before that spot happened
Right.
too.
So she still had sold plenty, and now you need to get into the ring and you need to pivot into a go home spot that's not including Jade Cargill, which keeps her looking good. And she's out. Yeah, she's out on the outside, but she finished with a big move after getting busted open. And the final shot of her is like her bleeding,
Well,
and like if she went from bleeding to still trying to get in the ring to break up the cover, well, now she still finishes looking strong.
yeah, and I think it's just it's small choices that kind of snowballed, kind of into an avalanche shitstorm.
I mean, but it's also really easy to be, you know, the coach on Monday morning.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's, I mean, that's unfortunately being on as podcast hosts, that's kind of what we do also a little bit too. But we offer, the unique perspective of our personal thoughts, but also personal experiences. Um, you know, it's really interesting to say what you would have done in that situation, or what shouldn't have happened. Obviously, that ref doesn't usually botch too often. I don't think it's like she's gonna get fired or anything. But like, I think the calls for her to lose her job by people are fucking insane.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
like that's, I'm honestly over all of it across the board, every fucking industry, whether it's wrestling, everything. Unless it's something so egregious where someone's being threatened, or something like that, I'm just, stop calling for people's jobs because they call.
here's the real thing is like we're all human, we all make mistakes. And like I just tried to lay out to you there, you're talking about a split second of having to make a decision of whether you stop your hand or whether you let it hit the mat. And sometimes those wrestlers, I'm going to tell you right now, they will wait until the last possible second to kick out. I've had my hand hit the mat before thinking they're not going to kick out, and then they do kick out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Over on Raw, we saw Roman Reigns return. We'll circle back to that in a minute. We saw Seth Rollins and Cody. So I kind of like, I like
Okay,
the dynamic now that
let
they're having in the build up for Crown Jewel.
I'm trying to figure this out. Like I wanted to ask you about this specifically tonight. Like, where do you stand on Cody versus Seth? Because um like I can't get excited about this. I've tried to look at it from multiple angles. I cannot get excited for
I
this
think
match anyway.
I think had they done a better job with the Vision storyline, I think I might be slightly more excited. To me, Crown Jewel is a glorified, the championships that they're Cody and Stephanie and Tiffany are fighting for, and Seth. It's bragging rights. The old pay per view. It's all it is. It's champion versus champion. You know,
Right, but
there's a
I'm down with that. I like,
yeah. I'm
the
normally down with it.
show
I
versus
just
show kind of
I
dynamic, but my issue on it is that Cody came back like when he came back to WWE, his first feud was with Seth. When
Mm-hmm.
and he's had like all these matches with Seth, and Cody has won all of them.
Yeah, like if Seth loses this match, it means nothing, honestly, at this point. If he wins, it's a shocker. Um, I could
But still
see
means nothing.
it still means nothing, but I could maybe this is them setting up Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes, costing him the Crown Jewel Championship to lead into a feud. I'm fine with us finally getting Randy versus Cody like a real feud because
I'd
I'm sure
rather
it'll be
that.
good.
No, no. Honest to God, what I would rather have happen is let Randy Orton win the Royal Rumble.
Hmm?
Put them on a
Actually,
forced. If we're gonna do Cody versus Orton, okay, I
forced
want to
path
put
collision
them on a
course.
forced collision course where like there's no way out of it. They're gonna run into each other, and it can, I would even do the stone like in the Stone Cold Shawn Michaels build up, how they became tag team champions that then couldn't trust each other.
Yeah, no, I think that honestly that was where I was going with it too. I think that would be a great callback. I think it would keep the storyline, fresh. But as far as Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, I've got zero interest in watching them face each other. The promo last night, they did a better job selling it to me. So I'll give them their props there. I just, I think where is it going with Seth Rollins and the Vision and CM Punk and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline? No one knows because it's all Triple H can book is the Bloodline. We'll get to that later. I thought it was really weird how they had the Usos having tension between them in their match. Like, you guys just reunited. Now there's tension because Roman's
Yeah,
back. It's
it's
lazy
like,
booking.
yeah, I feel like we have to keep this certain amount of tension of is Jey Uso going to turn heel, and I honestly feel, and maybe this is a hot take, I feel like this is the internet's fault.
Yep.
Um, everybody is so into booking this Jey Uso heel turn, couch potatoing it, that now the WWE is in a position where they feel like they have to give us these hints in order to keep us interested rather than actually doing something that feels organic, fresh, and new. And that's the biggest problem with everything about the place. Jay, Jimmy, and Roman, quite frankly, are all in right now. Is the hottest storyline of 4 years ago
Is
is
still
stale.
going on.
Like it's
Yeah.
4 years later now. Like if the NWO,
This is
if you look at that,
NWO Black and Silver.
if you look at the NWO storyline, okay, and you can, whether you liked it or you didn't like it, the bottom line is, 1996 is a long way from 2000.
Hmm. To me, this is NWO Black and Silver.
Yeah,
It's the same vibe. Like, to me, you built Jay Uso up as this champion, a main event guy in his own right. You had him basically hold the belt for a month and a half, 2 months and a half, lose it back to Gunther for fuck all Goldberg's retirement. Um, to me, you've undermined Jay's credibility. The Usos are back to tag teaming. Roman's back to facing Seth probably for the world title. Roman's facing Braun Breaker at Crown Jewel. I, I don't care. You've made me, and honestly, like I feel like Triple H. I know he's in charge of creative, like, and it's very easy to lay the blame at his feet. But like honestly, outside of the Bloodline storyline with Cody Rhodes, over those what 2-3 years ago, in the 4 years of the Bloodline story. And what else has he booked that's actually been successful and gotten over and is at that level? Nothing. He is, Drew versus CM Punk.
On the main event, nothing. The only other storyline that I would argue he has been as successful with is DIY. But that was NXT. That was
NXT Black. Well, and I'll be honest, like we talked about on last week's now deleted episode, I think he's, ever since he lost the Wednesday Night War to AEW, he has been booking reactively instead of focusing on building his own product. Mm-hmm. He's got his main storyline down. We know that. He's always been good at that. Undisputed Era,
I think he's a little shook. I don't think that anyone is enjoying the vision.
It's because it's fucking boring.
Right, but the thing is like heel groups are still usually entertaining in some way. Whether it was DX running people down as heels, or the Shield. You never knew when they were going to come in, but their music was going to hit and they were going to storm the ring. There were these dynamics that led to entertaining moments.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's none of that.
With the vision, I don't feel like we're getting entertaining moments. I think Braun Breaker is a phenomenally talented individual. I actually really think Seth Rollins is a good in-ring wrestler. I think that I'm sick of hearing Seth's voice and would much rather utilize Paul Heyman for his mic work at this point. And also, I don't think, and I think this is my biggest problem, okay? And this goes all the way back to the Shield. When we had the Shield show up, we weren't told who the leader of the Shield was. They kind of said there wasn't a leader, but with every group, there is someone who kind of gives that vibe. Yeah.
Mm.
And for me, the guy who was in charge was Dean Ambrose.
Mm-hmm. That's how they positioned it, especially with the promos. Because Roman couldn't cut a promo for jack shit back then.
Mm-hmm.
Seth's promos were grating.
When it got to the point where Seth had turned and we had the Authority, I couldn't stand Seth. I couldn't stand Seth on the mic, and it took me a long and I had to go back and really think about it hard. Is it because this is a heel group? Is it because it's a heel storyline that I'm not into? Or is it Seth? And what I finally came to realize, it was Seth. It didn't bother me when Randy was talking. It didn't bother me when Triple H was talking. Hell, it didn't even really bother me when Stephanie was talking. Kane, I'll never like corporate Kane. That's.
I think that was a terrible idea, and I think they were just trying to get him on there. I think that was a terrible idea.
Yeah, that was just character assassination. I'll never like.
Yeah, well, and that whole era was dog shit, anyways. But that's just because you had Brock Lesnar as the main event champion most of the time. To me,
it isn't dog shit though.
DuelingGuard.com.
You're damn right.
Make sure you go to DuelingGuard.com, enter the code SOG15 for 15% off all your gaming merch needs. They've got sleeves, they've got binders, they've got deck boxes. I use it. Brian uses it. We're super excited to have them as a sponsor and affiliate of the show.
And you can use it too. All you got to do is use that code SOG15. You get 15% off of your next purchase at DuelingGuard.com. Make sure they know that we sent you. Yeah, that way. We sent you. That's how that goes.
Yeah. So I did like them finally the Kabuki Warriors finally turning on Io, misting her. We're getting Rhea and Io versus Asuka and Kairi Sane at Crown Jewel. I believe it's Crown. Yeah, it's Crown Jewel. So I mean, it's going to be them in bodysuits, not their normal gear. But
That could actually, hold on, just real talk. That could actually be done really cool for
I
the
mean,
Kabuki Warriors specifically, like because of their gimmick. I think
yeah, I
there's
think
some ways that could be done really cool for them. And I think that if you did that, if WWE did that a little bit more, specifically with the female costumes, leaned into some of the character with the full bodysuit, kind of like we've seen Natalia do a little bit better, a little bit.
yeah.
I
I
think
just
that
real
would help sell it a little bit more.
yeah,
Um,
I just realized Tiffany versus Stephanie McCare. If it's at Crown Jewel and they're in bodysuits, Booker T is not going to be able to get as excited on commentary.
that's true. Now, how
Maybe that's a
question
good
for you?
thing.
A question for you about this heel turn. How did you feel about it? Because it was a very
It
this
was a
heel turn
slow,
was done very differently.
it was a slow burn. I kind of liked it. It took a while to get to it. Um,
I more meant with the with Asuka very clearly being the one in charge and ordering around. Asuka seemed to be the one with the vendetta
mhm,
almost.
yeah,
Um, and then there seemed to be some reluctance on the other side. Is that how you
yeah.
took it too?
Well, and I think that was intentional because Io and Kari they came up together.
Right, but my question is does that then muddy the heel turn?
I don't think so. You can have some reluctance, you know, for the heel turn because it could be one of those things where it's like, you know, it's self preservation is the motivation, so it's justifiable. Um, I don't think it necessarily muddies the water. I do think they could have approached the slow burn in a little more of a consistent way. Um, I really thought they were going to turn on EO like a month ago, and I would have much rather. I thought that the first misting should have happened on EO and not Rhea. That said, the mommy Smurf memes had me in bucking stitches because I don't know for those of you out there who are my age or Brian's age, growing up in high school, there's some weird shit out there like Newgrounds with like Happy Tree Friends. Well, there was a bunch of videos out there where it was like Papa Smurf and like some funny ass shit. You can go find it. I won't repeat what's said there, but you'll get the joke.
I
If you
I
go.
gotta bring this up though. This is something that irritates the hell out of me about missed spots. Okay, there are two ways you can go about a missed spot. I can mist you, and you can go, oh my god, and flip out, or I can mist you, and then hit you with a move, right?
Yeah.
And what really irritates me is that what I see a lot with the Asuka mist is it'll be the oh my god and freak out, and then they'll drop to the ground and sell like they just got DDT'd or something.
Yeah. I've always
And
been of the belief that the miss should be followed up with even if it's just a clothesline.
oh no, I would actually be cool with that because I would like to see some variance,
Mm-hmm.
like logically,
Well,
if I got misted, right, and I'm freaking out, I'm gonna roll out of the ring. I'm gonna go over to the commentary table. I'm gonna find a bottle of water and start pouring it on my face to try and get this shit out of my eyes.
yeah. Well,
All of that. If Rhea
I think.
had done that, she's still out of the ring. She's still out of the way. She's still not able to provide aid.
Mhm.
But it makes her look a lot smarter.
Yeah. Well, and I think honestly that's kind of a problem with a lot of the formulatic WWE style booking is there's a lot of copy and paste. I'll be honest, the Eddie Guerrero's chair spot was fucking chef's kiss when he first did it and when he was doing it. He made it his thing where he'd fake getting hit and then toss the chair. It's fucking amazing. I'll be honest, I think it's overdone as shit these days, and I think far too many moves are overdone. Like, how many motherfuckers on the main roster have the spear as one of their finishers?
Oh
Two,
my
three,
god.
four. The fucking DDT.
It's
Like,
this. Well, okay, the DDT at least when people use
not DDT. The super kick.
okay.
Like,
So here's the DDT is a really good. It's a really good one to put alongside this because with the DDT, there was always a level of variance you were able to put along with the DDT to make it your own. You know, whether it was the double underhook or maybe you're gonna spin it to the side.
cradle
Maybe
spin side one.
yeah, Edge had that nice elevated one where he'd get their body fully extended and then drop them into it.
Yeah, it was almost like a bird or a horizontal suplex like form, but
Mm-hmm.
in a DDT snap.
Yeah, just a face bump, man. Real nice and
Yeah,
easy.
I think there needs to be more variation in wrestlers' moves, and obviously some moves are basic and they can't like always be modified. But like when I mean the small package. Remember the small package problem we had last year, where like everything was
Mm-hmm.
ending in a fucking small. They mean less when they're done all the time, and that's what I feel like the Eddie Guerrero chair spot has become. The only person who should be using that in WWE is Dominic Mysterio.
100%. 100%. Specifically because of who Dom is and his character. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if Dom wasn't there, I'd be like, okay, well, you can spread that out occasionally between people for various reasons and whatnot. But I 100% agree with you. I'm tired of seeing the played out version of Eddie Guerrero. I Whenever anybody else does it, it doesn't look good.
Yeah. So yeah, we had Roman Reigns return and the weird
With the
tension
one
between the
exception
Usos.
being AJ Styles, that was with Dominant Mysterio.
That was funny.
That was
It was
really
kind of
well
like
done.
when I forget, was it Eddie and Edge when they did the chair back and forth, or Eddie and Kurt?
That whole match though was like Eddie's greatest hits. It was like a tribute
Yeah,
match to Eddie. So
yeah. Uh, we Raw was way better than SmackDown in my opinion. Just want to know, Adrius Enofwe, member of NXT, left WWE of his own accord this week. He's from the EFED community. He's from the United Kingdom, I believe. So it's interesting to see someone. Lately, people are, you know, walking away from WWE. It's a lot of people's dreams, so it's really interesting to see the reverse of that. But I think AEW and a lot of other companies being a thing, maybe it becomes more common.
I just the other week I was having a conversation with a talent whose name I'm sure would not like me to mention their name, but a WWE talent who recently left, and they were expressing just like the lack of creativity and the stringentness of the product being an issue, and then when you combine that with the corporatization of everything, it really can become grating on your dream.
Well, yeah, and then you have to deal with like the fans, bitching and whining because shit's too expensive. You got to deal with fans at the
They're not
airports.
wrong. Wait, those fans
They're
aren't
not
wrong.
wrong. I will. That's a hill I will die on. But it's a lot, and when it's your dream, sometimes you're willing to sacrifice things for that. But sometimes protecting your peace matters more than your dream.
Yeah.
And that's a sad realization that as you get older you realize. But overall, I'd probably give Raw probably a 3.5 out of 5. I'd give SmackDown a 2 out of 5. It was just bland. For AEW, Blood and Guts announced for Greenboro in November. I'm kind of sad. I was hoping I'd get to be there since I did predict the first ever women's Blood and Guts months ago.
You did. I'll give you your flowers. Tony Khan won't, but I will.
He could just, give me tickets. That'll work. Jamie Hayter, Queen Amanita. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Anna Jay and Ty Mello, and then we'll get probably one other babyface in there, maybe Tony Storm.
I think Tony Storm is a wrestler that is made for blood and guts.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
looking at her last couple of years. Like, if you look at her over the last, I'd say 2 years,
Hmm.
and then you go and then you say, okay, who's the first wrestler you want to see in a blood and guts match? A first female wrestler you want to see in a blood and guts match? That's my pick,
Yeah,
hands
no,
down.
absolutely. Well, and Tony Storm's special, like, and she's defined so much of the women's division. I think it would also do some good to get her out of the world championship picture for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Statlander winning in a shocking, match a few weeks ago. I think that the women's world heavyweight championship division could use a breath of fresh air. That way, it lets Tony Storm stay, relevant, creative, and not like feeling forced down people's throats because we've seen some complaints of that. Um, Honestly, I think Tony Storm might be the best women's wrestler in the world, and has quietly been so, at least character wise and in presentation wise, or at least the last 2 years. Her in ring works great. Her promos are hilarious. Um, you know, Jamie Hayter returning.
Wow. I'm thinking about this for a second, and that means that you are putting Tony Storm over Mommy with that comment.
I am. That's
I
it's a
don't
tough.
know. I
It's
would
a
say
tough.
I agree with you definitely over the last year. I think 2 years ago I would
Two
have had to
years
go.
ago, I would have said Mommy over Tony, but I just think that WWE. I wouldn't say they fumbled Rhea Ripley's recent booking, but
I would.
they hit.
I'll say it.
I would say,
Evan, you don't need to say it. I'll say it. WWE has
yeah,
fumbled
they
Rhea
fumbled
Ripley's
it.
recent booking.
Yeah, they fumbled her recent booking. It's been stumbles, and I get they're trying to switch directions and pivot with her, which is great. I called for that a while ago, but her character kind of needs a little bit of a, she is the most over woman in wrestling. Period. Just the crowd reaction. It's apples to oranges even with Tony Storm. But when you talk complete package, I would now put Tony Storm over Rhea Ripley.
I
Still very close.
I really want to see. I would really like to see Rhea go after the Intercontinental title. Right now, I think a Rhea Becky
Her
feud
versus
would
Becky
be really be great.
they would overshadow the women's world title division, and I think it
Yeah,
would be great, and it would definitely refresh for both character. You know, I don't really want to see Becky involved in the Vision stuff. I just don't. We
yeah,
already saw Seth and Becky kind of teaming up like 2 years ago. No one gave a shit then. No one gives a shit now. Do fucking better. Moving back, we've got Jungle Boy Jack Perry back along with Luchasaurus. It was revealed that Luchasaurus actually had health issues that kept him away from the ring. So it's good to have Luchasaurus back. I'm glad it was life threatening allegedly from what we were reading or what I was reading, and it's good to have him back. It was really interesting to see people pop for the Jungle Boy theme versus last time we saw him he was the scapegoat. So like
hmm
maybe this is gonna be like a darker take on Jurassic Express.
Well, so I have very mixed feelings about this because on the one hand, like I like the idea of Jurassic Express being back together because it does give us the ability to have Jurassic Express versus Edge and Christian.
Yeah, and I think
Potentially.
that would be gold.
Yeah. Um, at the same time, and I almost feel bad saying this, where Edge and Christian, like they're at the end of their run, they're just having fun at this point. I'm kind of goofing off. That's how I feel about pretty much everything that they're doing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Jack Perry or Luchasaurus we're talking about, both of them are. I think, the future of AEW. And
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like putting them back into the Jurassic Express tag team position almost stunts growth, you know.
Normally, I would agree with you. Like normally, I'd be right there with you. It's a twofold issue that AEW's had. They've broken apart so many tag teams that their tag team division is actual, like, outside of FTR, Edge and Christian, and a few other teams. It's just kind of dog shit. Like even the Young Bucks, like we've seen everything that they have to offer, and I think bringing Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy back in, bringing the Acclaimed back together, you're bringing people back into the fold that. Sorry, my my cat is currently trying to crawl into an empty laundry basket and doesn't understand that it's empty, and it confused me. You're in a position where your tag team division is floundering. You know, you've got teams over on ROH like the Outrunners teaming with Dalton Castle, and like there's a ways you can do like fresh things within your tag team division. And it's like we've talked about. It's a there's only so much TV time. Getting them back on helps you in a multifaceted way. It resets the course. It it resets your division, and it gets them screen time to get themselves back over and reacquainted with your audience. At least in my opinion.
I like your opinions. You have good opinions of it.
You
Keep
know,
it up.
I do fucking better. um, Chris Statlander, her as a women's champion. I wasn't sure how to feel at first, but I think this will be an interesting change of pace for the women's division. Um, I really want to see her and Marina Shafir have a nice feud over the women's title. I mean, they could hot potato it back and forth. You know, I think it serves with what the story they're telling is the reason that I think they could hot potato it back and forth and build Statlander up as a credible babyface. Marina Shafir hasn't really, she's wrestled, but like this would give her a chance to get the spotlight, take what she's learned from Moxley, and see if she can elevate herself as well.
That would be nice to see some translation over on the female side
Yeah.
from that whole. I'm still calling it a debacle. I know you feel like that the whole storyline worked its way out. I'm still with Daniel a little bit on this. Death Riders is rough, man.
It was rough, and I was calling it dog shit before you told me to wait. Oh, it's not dog shit. I was calling it dog shit for a while, but it took me coming back around to it. It wasn't perfect. It's not how I would have done it. It's not how you would have done it. I don't think there's not a lot of people would have done it that way. But when in the grand scheme, you look at like who it got over and what it accomplished. It did its job, and it did it in a way that was kind of old school. It was a heel group that you despised seeing, and anytime they were on your TV, you just kind of wanted to go. The problem
But
is it was
unfortunately, that
almost
made a
too
lot of
much,
people turn off their TV.
and that's my
To
problem. In the beginning, that's how it was, and I think now they've got the Death Riders kind of circling the mid card a little bit. I think you have the potential to help build your mid card up through them. So it's really interesting.
We shall see.
Yeah. So AEW's Women Blood and Guts. That's since let's kick it right back off with that for one of our topics. Who do you want to see in the match? Like,
I already told you. I want Tony Storm.
yeah, outside of Tony Storm, we both want Tony Storm in the match. Who do you want? And it's 5-on-5.
Well, okay. So honestly, I I never thought I don't really like seeing her in much. But if you're gonna have her carry all that gold and say that she is that big of a deal, then bring in Mercedes Monet. Like this is supposed to be a huge deal, a huge match. Why wouldn't you get someone holding that many championships?
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I think they're gonna have her feud with Statlander.
Oh wait,
Uh,
we're talking different conversations here. I thought we were just fantasy booking a fucking
oh, okay, okay. Okay.
who
Let's get
on
on the
the
same page.
entire AEW roster would you want to
Okay,
see in a blood and guts match? That's what
all
I
right.
thought we were doing. I mean, who Tony Khan is going to action figure his way into that match? I can't, that's up to Tony.
That's fair. Mercedes is an interesting choice. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Harley Cameron in there. She likes to get a little wild with the weapons. Imagine the puppet with like thumbtacks on it, like kind of using it like Mr. Sacco.
See, that's interesting that like you're going to like the weapons place with it, and I'm thinking I'm trying to think of women who are like one athletically talented and two willing to do that like extreme bump. You know what I mean?
I guess I haven't seen that from Mercedes, the willingness to do the extreme bumps. So maybe that's my where I'm hung up on that
Oh
choice
no,
for me.
I think Mercedes would do the extreme bump, as long as it was set up in the right. But I think it all has to be set up for her.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's fair. Megan Bain inside of Blood and Guts would be really interesting, given the size of her versus the average women on the women's roster. Like she's a lot bigger than all the other women in the division. Like
You now I have this. I'm all right. All right. This is what it's gonna be. You keep pitching them, and I'm gonna keep imagining these images of Megan Bain chasing Mercedes Monet, chasing Tony Storm, chasing any woman on the AEW roster up the side of the blood and guts cage.
oh shit, there's I mean obviously we know we're getting Jamie Hayter, Queen
That,
Amanita,
okay, hold on.
those
Jamie
guys.
Hayter.
I'm trying to rule
Jamie
them
Hayter
out.
was Jamie Hayter's another one that I'm actually really excited to see in this match.
Same. I'm trying to rule those out and think about who else. Anna, Jay, and Ty Mello would be an interesting choice in there. Um, Ty Mello likes using kendo sticks, so that could be interesting. Anna Jay. So I know they just announced the women's tag belts, so that's probably where their focus is. But like, I
But
really feel
again,
like
we're not talking about that. We're just fantasy booking
yeah,
anything.
I'm trying to think of the women's division beyond them. I'm having a hard time coming up with an option. That could be a problem for AEW. Britt Baker being a surprise return for Blood and Guts would be really interesting too.
Well, and it's gonna be 5-on-5. We're sure
Yeah.
about this,
Well, it usually is with the men.
right? But the women's roster isn't quite as expansive as the men's roster,
Guess
and
that's fair. Maybe it'll be 4-on-4 too.
in terms of names, in terms of like names that you're using to draw. Now, like maybe Tony Khan is thinking that the match will sell the show itself, and so that could be.
Yeah, well, in that case, then yeah, Mercedes would definitely be someone you'd want in that match to help sell it. I'm gonna have to pull it up.
What the whole women's roster? You cheating?
Yeah, because I'm blanking.
Well, here's another interesting like
Oh
little
man.
fun thought experiment. All right, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.
Oh.
We've seen a lot of the invasion stuff. And are we allowed to say the word invasion?
I heard it was a showdown now
Like
because
showdown.
they're afraid of the flashback, which I have opinions on, but I don't want to get us canceled. So,
Hey man,
um,
Invasion was a really well bought pay per view. Just saying.
it was. That's why I'm surprised they backed down.
it was also an absolute shit show of a pay-per-view. I remember buying that was like back in the day when you had to buy them at $50 a pop. You know, it was a big deal. I remember buying Invasion, the original one, man. That was. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, you give me 5 AEW, and I will give you 5 WWE.
Okay.
Let's
So we're
let's come up with a team. Let's come up one by one here. I
all
will
right.
I will let you go first.
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. Okay. Um, I'm gonna bring in Rhea Ripley.
I'm gonna bring in Mercedes Monet.
Question: am I allowed to use injured wrestlers?
No. I feel like in the interest of fairness, anybody that's injured shouldn't be used.
Okay, Liv is just gonna give encouragement from the sidelines then. Uh, hey, it's a fair question. It's a fair
No,
question.
that's fair.
Um, all right, number 2, I gotta go with Asuka.
Okay, I can respect that.
Asuka inside of Blood and Guts. Hell yeah.
uh Megan Bain.
Okay, if I have to wait, no. Dang it, she's injured. I was about to say Piper Niven, but
Her injury could be career threatening from what I was
yeah,
reading, neck injury stuff. So here's
but
hoping for a speedy recovery.
you know who would do a great job and represent her well?
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. Damn right.
Okay, well we're on number 4 here. Well, I'm gonna go with Athena.
You know, I know that she had some botches on Friday night, but also I don't think that they would have gotten through that match without her. She's been women's champion. She is women's champion. She's fantastic. Tiffany Stratton.
Okay, that's your number 5.
That's 4.
I can math. All right, my number 5. Well, let's round it out with the AEW Women's Champion Chris Statlander.
All right. Well, for my final pick, I'm going to go with the woman who has turned around my opinion on her the most in 2025,
Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair.
Same. I was not 100% sold on this babyface tag team run with Alexa Bliss, but they've delivered. It's been refreshing. It's been weird to see her get cheered, but it's been refreshing.
Yeah, it's a complete character change, which is exactly what she needed.
You're not wrong. It added personality and depth, like we've been asking for since episode 1. Da, 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 da.
The original, of the original.
Yeah, of the original, the Standards of Greatness podcast. And that's a deep cut. All right. Well, then I guess our final topic of the night, John Cena. He's got 5 dates left. One of them being with AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. We're each gonna book his final 4 dates.
Now, did you want to go first on this, or did you want me?
I'm gonna let
first?
you go first on this.
All right. So
I know who I want to be his retirement match.
all right. So my first one is actually one that I've heard that we might get. So I want to preface that, but this is one that I've been calling. Excuse me. That I've been calling for a couple of months now, just because I think that the work that he's done has been phenomenal, and he deserves the spot. That's Dominic Mysterio. I don't think that there's anyone in the current generation, the new generation of WWE wrestlers, that has the grasp of character and the ring awareness, and it's a future just Hall of Famer, not future world champion, future Hall of Famer like Dominic Mysterio is.
Yeah, I genuinely, when he first started, I was like, oh boy, but he has proven himself not only in the ring, his character work. He's the first ever heel to turn heel and turn heel while turning heel, or while being a heel. Like, that's a fucking mouthful. Number one.
He's my hero.
So let me preface this. He's the person I'm having retire John Cena. He will be the final match in December for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, Dominic?
Yeah. I guess to get there, after Crown Jewel, I'm gonna book Cena to win versus AJ Styles, kind of as a recovery of the bullshit from WrestlePalooza. That following Monday night, Cena gets confronted by Dominic and Judgment Day and gets laid the fuck out. Adam Pearce makes a match for Saturday Night Main Event. Or no, wait. Because that day, Crown Jewels in October, November would be the next date, so that would be when we would see that. And then we would have a match. Judgment Day would interfere. We'd end up with John Cena's, not the match basically getting called off a draw. The second to last show, we have a steel cage match for the Intercontinental Championship. John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. John Cena finally wins the IC title in his second to last match. And Dominic invokes his rematch on the following night.
Wait, so you're giving two of the final spots to Dom?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow.
That's how much I believe in him and how much he has proven. Dominic invokes his rematch clause, challenges Cena at Saturday Night Main Event. Cena does the whole, you want some, come get some. Dominic Mysterio, much like we talked about, he eddies him, tricks him. 1, 2, 3. Dominic pins Cena, ends his career at Saturday Night Main Event. Cena goes out on his back, putting the new generation over. Not the bullshit we got at WrestlePalooza. I think it makes sense. It pays us over.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I got 4 matches here. Dom was one of them. All right. The only little story that I put in is actually right here in the middle too. I did have a championship win for John Cena in this little final run here, but it's not going to be against Dom. Dom can cheat his way to a win, and that's what I'd love to see. Is just Dom doing Dom stuff. But I really think that a big part of this last little chunk should be about Cena, like giving a little something back to the up and comers, the next generation, and that's why I would like to see John Cena. Excuse me. I'd like to see John Cena defeat Trick Williams.
Could be interesting.
John Cena becomes TNA champion.
Mr. 18 time.
It's a little bit different though, because now it's a TNA title, and now TNA
basically WWE now.
But TNA gets to say like John Cena was one of our champions.
Yeah, it furthers the lineage.
Then I think that the appropriate person for Cena to drop it back to would be Joe Hendry. I think a lot of people would really enjoy seeing a Cena Hendry match. The promos leading up to that would be absolute gold. How much would you love to see Joe Hendry sing a song about John Cena?
I'm picturing Joe Hendry, Doctor of Thugonomics.
Like, yeah, exactly. And then, now we're at the final. last match. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the last guy? I think that the last match would be really awesome to have as a triple threat. John Cena versus Randy Orton versus CM Punk. It doesn't have to be it's not about a story. It's not it's about this match. Just this one last time. And the moments that Cena's had with both of those guys, I think that's the way to end it on.
I could see that. There's a multiverse out there where his final matches with Edge.
Oh yeah.
I would like to see him and the Miz cross paths, considering their history as well.
I think it would be really cool, like at the end, to have a lot of guys come back. Just to kind of like be in the audience, like Batista as an example. I think it'd be awesome if Batista was there in the audience. I think it'd be awesome if The Rock was there in the audience.
Taker, all those guys.
Yeah.
Shawn. People he shared history with,
Flair.
Flair. Cena's, he's been around a while, and like 25 years is a long ass time in the business to say consistently and to be the top guy. He had a longer, I wouldn't argue the impact, but I'd argue in terms of consistent. He had a larger impact than probably, I'd say, anyone other than Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'd put him right there neck and neck with The Rock. In terms of, The Rock's career was only realistically like 7 years.
Yeah. Maybe Brett.
Yeah. But Brett's career pivoted and got cut short, so it's like hard to really, he's one of the best of all time based off of that, even that.
Cena is the prototype of what happens if you get to go all the way.
Yeah. He's the grab the brass ring and take the football to the end zone.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Cena's the prototype.
I got that.
I've been waiting all night to use that one.
God damn it.
Yes.
Someone's got to set your jokes up. We don't have a nugget to do to make fun of. All right. Well, that brings us to our final segment.
You know what? I feel this need. I feel this need right now.
And you got a fever for the House of Opa?
No, what I was gonna say is that Daniel has done such a good job of staying quiet tonight that I was gonna give him a gold star.
I'll double it. Fuck.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that brings us before our final segment. Make sure you go check out our sponsor, duelingguard.com. Enter the code SOG15 at checkout to get 15% off all your gaming merch needs. They've got deck boxes, mats, binders, sleeves. I'll look into dice. I'm not sure. Every bit you spend there helps us here at the pod, helps fund tons of cool projects like, the TC2 Pocket events that I do and, the profiles, the video game stuff Brian's doing. But we also have something cool that's up here as well. Are you ready to announce it, I guess?
Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited, my guy.
Drum roll. The Standards of Geekness podcast will be now doing an episodic D&D series. We're looking at probably once a month. One of our weekly podcast episode nights will be based around our party of D&D explorers, following the adventures of my character, Kaelerix Ironscale, a metallic dragonborn artificer. Brian's character, Bartholomew Cuthbend. I'll be honest, I was a little hungover when I first read that name. I was a little hungover when I first read that name when you told me, and I thought it was Cuckbend, and I was like, well, that's a choice. But no, I had to reread it. Go ahead and tell the audience what your character is.
Oh, my name is gonna. My character's name is Bartholomew Cuthbend. He is a cleric who is extremely full of himself. He's a good guy at heart, but he's an asshole while doing it. I I may have taken some personal inspiration.
Hey. But yeah, so we've got a party with, there's another Dragonborn played by our buddy of the pod, Chris Chaos. We've got a Tiefling played by Jordan. Orem Grace. Trying to Orem, I forget last name. I'm blanking on. um, and then we have the DM. Obviously, you can see him back here in the DM Carlon. We're really excited about this. We just filmed episode 0, session 0, to kind of get a feel for it. This is my first time playing D&D regularly since 2010.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too. About a decade for me since I
Yeah,
last rolled the D20. And this is gonna be a little bit different because we all kind of were trying to pick characters and things play different than we had when we played in the past. So
yeah,
a lot of times I'm used to playing like a rogue or a bard, and this time I'm going to play a healer. So I don't know how this is going to go.
and I'm typically playing a rogue or a ranger or some type of weird sorcerer that ends up multi-classing into rogue. It's always rogue, like I told you. Even with the X-Men, it always goes back to rogue. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. We got a bunch of other content coming on the way. It's not to say we won't. We're still gonna be doing wrestling content. Don't want you guys to think that. It's just one, week, basically a month, or maybe 2 weeks a month, depending on the schedule works out. We'll all get together. We'll live stream what we do. You'll get to see how it works. And maybe we can post resources to help you learn too. I'm super excited about this. I know you're super excited about it, Brian.
Yeah, I think this is it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great time getting to go through Carlon's world.
Yeah.
He has been a DM for both Chris and I in the past. Uh, I guess you're going to be the only one at the table who hasn't actually had him as a DM in the past.
It'll
But
be an exciting experience for me.
no, we did have a little game session last night. Got to roll some initiative last night. Why are you killing people on our first night?
Spoilers.
Ugh,
Hey, he shouldn't have bumped into the old man. I took offense for the old man and told him he was walking here.
took it very personally.
I
All
did
right.
take it very personally. All right. Well, other than that, I've got some more Pokemon Pocket CCG content coming up over the next week. I'll have probably do some streams this weekend when I have some time. I know you got some exciting stuff.
Yep, always coming out. We're going to keep pumping out that retro gaming content. Just dropped a Super Mario World episode that was with my daughter Nova, which you can check out right now on our YouTube page. And we'll have more games coming out. If there's a game that you would like to see us play, then let us know either here on our Facebook page or on the comments on the YouTube video.
Can I make a request of something? I don't know if you have it on your system.
Of
I don't know if
course.
you ever played it. Mutant League Hockey.
I will. What system is that for?
They had it on Genesis, I believe. At least that's what I have on
Mut-
my emulator. It's one of my
Mutant
favorite
League
games of all time.
Mutant
It's
League
ultra
Hockey for
violent.
the Sega Genesis. I will take a look at that.
Yeah, I think they might have also had it on Super Nintendo. I didn't. I didn't use my Super Nintendo that much as a kid, so um,
You fiend.
would love to play it more now. But it's one of my favorite games of all time. That and Splatterhouse. I'm a minor horror junkie at heart, so I love those games.
All right. Well, then I will talk to Nova and we will take a look at the Mutant League sports games.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Take it easy, everybody.